I bought this dress even though I knew it wasn't going to fit, and I'm going to fix it. This is a dress from the iconic Japanese brand Jane Marple, and I have always loved their square neck JSKs. The problem is that these JSKs max out at about 90 centimeters in the bust, which has always been too small for me. In addition to that, there is no shirring in their designs, so there is no hope that there will be a little bit of extra stretch for me. But when I was looking at this listing online, I noticed something interesting, and that is that the interior of the dress has a facing that is the same as the fashion fabric on the outside. In addition to that, when I received the dress, I noticed another surprise, which is that the hem has about an inch of extra fabric there, which means that there's a lot of extra fabric for me to make some adjustments and modifications. I've done alterations like this before, particularly on some Innocent World dresses and some Mulberry Chronicles dresses, so I'm pretty comfortable opening up the side seams, opening up the side seam on the skirt, adding an extra panel of fabric, and then closing that back all up. So let's get started. These modifications aren't particularly complicated technically. They do require some confidence because you're cutting into a dress, and once you do that, there's no going back. Another option is if your dress has detachable bows or pockets with the same fabric as the fashion fabric. So if you're not as confident or it's your first time doing this kind of modification, look for a dress that has detachable pieces that have the same fabric as the fashion fabric. I have done this enough times that I'm pretty confident in my ability to do this one, but there's always the chance something will go wrong. This dress has a zipper up the back and side seams underneath the armpits. In addition to that, there's some extra fabric in the skirt right here in the form of pleats. So I will be releasing those pleats in order to accommodate the additional fabric that I'm going to be adding right here. I will also have to grab a fabric from my stash to use to add to the lining as well. So in total, I'm hoping to add about 4 inches to this JSK, which means that it's going to be about 2 inches on each side, give or take. If you have a dress that has a side zipper instead of a back zipper, you could also remove the side zipper. I've done that on my Grazia crowns, so they just slide over my head. So here is the plan. I am going to be cutting the excess fabric from the hem. I'm going to be reserging and then re-hemming the bottom hem. I'm going to be taking and creating a side panel out of that extra fabric. I'm going to unpick the side seam on the bodice, unpick a little bit of the side seam on the skirt. I will be adding a lining layer to the inside, a fashion fabric layer to the outside, then closing up all of those seams so that they look nice from the outside. Unfortunately, I do think that I'm going to have to change the directionality a little bit. There's just not enough fabric sideways in order to get that matching. But as you can see on this side seam, Jane Marple already didn't match the side seams, so I'm okay with it not matching a little bit, especially because it's going to be underneath my arm, a place that I'm not showing off all that often.
Unfortunately, I didn't get as much footage of me working on this project as I would have hoped, but first I had to remove the hem on the bottom of the skirt. This was done with a beautiful invisible hem, and mine does not look nearly as good. Once I had unpicked all of that fabric, I carefully cut and made a new hem on the bottom. Once I'd harvested all that fabric, I sewed it together into panels that were approximately 2.5 inches by 7 inches, which was the size of my bodice panel. I also cut a panel of lining fabric as well. Then I added both of those to the bodice and then carefully closed them all up. I also unpicked the side of the skirt and then released the pleats so that I had a little bit of extra room in the skirt. The side panels turned out so clean, and I'm really happy with how they look. I ended up with a bunch of extra fabric, and when I tried it on, I realized that I needed the dress to sit lower on my waist, so I added about 4 inches to the straps of the JSK. And here is the final result. I am so happy with the fit of this dress. Went from literally not being able to zip it up to have it sitting on my natural waist and fitting me absolutely beautifully. I can move, I can breathe, I'm absolutely in love with the fit. I do still need someone to help me zip it up the back. It's just centered exactly where I cannot reach, but that's what spouses or roommates are for, right?
So this project is done. One unexpected thing that I should have guessed but didn't think about when I was initially doing it is I ended up adding length to the straps right here. Basically because my bust ends up taking more room than the original pattern expected. It doesn't sit on my waist, it sits a little higher, and as a result the kind of measurements that I was thinking about working with didn't work. But moving this down, this actually now sits on my actual waist, further down here. And it fits. I'm so proud of how clean the side seams look here. The pattern is interrupted, but the seams weren't matched anyway, so I'm not super broken up about it. And since it's under my armpit, I don't think people are going to be looking there. I am a little bit bummed that the straps don't match quite as well as I would have hoped. Can go back in and fix this a little bit more if I wanted to. The length is good, but just the sort of craftsmanship of it is a little bit just whatever. So I may go back and work this, but they fit this now. I am so excited. I love the look of these JSKs. I absolutely adore the prints, and now I get to wear Jane Marple. I'm so excited. I'm so happy with how this project turned out.